Well, we've been in the garden. Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart if you've been blessed by this Garden of Eden experience. We have been in the garden since Monday. Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart if you've been blessed by being in this Garden of Eden, realizing that it is a consciousness. Not so much a physical place, but it is a consciousness, a way of being, a way of seeing, a way of thinking, a way of speaking, and a way of doing business in the earth, coming from the Garden of Eden perspective. Well, we've been studying a book that I wrote years and years ago, all the way back in 2011. Kingdom Principles for Living the Divine Life, Exodus 2009. Kingdom Principles for Living the Divine Life. And we are in week number 5, and we're talking about the kingdom principle of divine placement. I am exactly where I am supposed to be in every area of my life. I cannot be where I'm not. As much as I might desire to be somewhere else, I can only be where I am. So since I'm here, I might as well show up fully present and receive all the lessons and blessings that are in this place for me. That is that Garden of Eden consciousness. No regrets, no wouldas and couldas and shouldas and if onlys, but I am present in the present moment, exactly where I am, right here and right now. I'm not focusing my energy on trying to be somewhere else in the future. I'm focused on where I am right now. I'm not putting my energy into where I have been in the past, but I am truly focused on where I am right now, on every level of my life, where I am spiritually, where I am mentally, emotionally, where I am physically, where I am geographically, where I am financially, vocationally, educationally. I came to encourage you today that it is perfect. Your life is perfect just the way it is, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be right here and right. Can I say that again? Your life is perfect just the way it is because you are right where you're supposed to be. There are blessings where you are. There are lessons where you are. And so I'm encouraging you today to know the truth that your life is perfect exactly the way it is because of where you are on the journey. This is a journey. And there are different stopping points. There are different starts and restarts along the way. But you are on a love journey. Anybody on this love journey, give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart. And wherever you are on this love journey, learning to love God, learning to love yourself, learning to love others, wherever you are on this love journey, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Not only is this a love journey, but you're on a path to wholeness. And wherever you are on this path, you are exactly where you are supposed to be on your wholeness path because you are getting to that place in conscious where you realize that there's nothing missing, there's nothing broken, and there is nothing out of place, that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart. If you're really seeing your life as a love journey and a path to wholeness, I see my life as a love journey and a path to wholeness. Come on, affirm that again. I see my life as a love journey and a path to wholeness. Come on, breathe that in one more time for the subconscious phase of mind. I see my life as a love journey and a path to wholeness. And when I see my life as a love journey and a path to wholeness, that I know that wherever I am on that love journey is where I'm supposed to be and it's perfect. When I see my life as a wholeness path, I know that wherever I am on that path, that it is perfect. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Well, let's get back to the Garden of Eden. We're looking at Genesis chapter 2, verses 15 through verses 22. Again, that's Genesis chapter 2, verses 15 through verses 22. And my subject today is even when it doesn't look like it, provision is right where you are. Come on, affirm. Even when it doesn't, less a denial actually, when it doesn't look like it, sometimes we are dealing with appearances. We're dealing with the seeming problem. We're dealing with the seeming issue. We are dealing with the seeming question. And it does not appear that provision is where we are. We feel like we got to go somewhere else for our needs to be met. Isn't that what affairs are about? Uh-oh. Extramarital affairs, isn't that what that's about? I feel like I have to go somewhere else to get my needs met, that my needs can't be met right where I am in this relationship, right where I am in this marriage. So I got to go outside of this Garden of Eden in order to get my needs met. And I'm telling you, sometimes it looks that way. Sometimes it feels that way, that where you are is not where you're supposed to be because you don't see your needs being met. And so therefore you begin to question, am I where I'm supposed to be? Because it doesn't look like, and I came to tell you this morning, it's only an appearance. It doesn't look like your needs are not being met there, but your needs are being met and everything you need is right where you are. That's what Adam was facing in the Garden of Eden. He was in the Garden of Eden. He was there for God. He was doing his work in the garden. He had named and tamed the animals, and he felt like something was missing in his life. And he felt alone. The word alone means all one. He felt self-contained, that what was inside of him was not outside of him. He felt alone, all one, self-contained. He felt lonely. He felt isolated, that there was no one that he could relate to. No one that he was able to connect with, even though he was connecting with God. And sometimes you can connect with God and you can still feel isolated and alone because you're looking for God with skin on it. Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart. Yes, I believe that God is the everywhere evenly present spirit of absolute good, but sometimes I need God with skin. You might as well give me a thumbs up, a high five, and a heart if you know I'm telling the truth. Sometimes you need God in a physical form. That's why God sent Jesus, because Jesus was a physical manifestation of the power and presence of God. And sometimes you need a physical manifestation of God. God in the form of another person. And let me tell you, pulley point number one, the animals won't do it. Adam had a more consciousness. He desired something more than what the animals were able to provide. He had named them and tamed them, but they were not fulfilling his need for intimacy. He still felt alone, even though he was meeting with God in the cool of the day, even though he was doing his job with tending to the garden, dressing it, and even though he had done his job with naming and taming the animals, he still felt like something was missing. It still appeared to him that he did not have everything that he needed, even though he is in this blissful garden with no sickness, no pain, no death, no lack and limitation. He still felt like something was missing. Have you ever felt like something was missing in your life, even though a lot of good stuff is going on, a lot of good stuff is happening, that you felt like something was missing? And someone called it, I think Reverend Robin, Elder-elect Robin, I was talking to her, and I think she referenced a divine discontentment, where it's something inside of you that's not satisfied. It's something inside of you that feels like something is missing. And that's the door of spirit knocking on the door of your heart saying you deserve more. That's the door of spirit knocking on your consciousness saying there's more that I have in store for you. And so when you feel like something is missing, know that it's a feeling. When it appears like something is missing, know that it is an appearance. But it is time for you to go within and to know the truth, that God is just telling me that there's more. I thought it couldn't get any better than this. But that divine discontentment is God knocking on the door of your heart, telling you that there is more that I have in store for you. Could it get any better? God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we are able to ask or even think, according to that power that works within us. So just when you think it's as good as it gets, that divine discontent sets in to say, there's more. This is not all that there is. There's more of the good that I have in store for you. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man the things that God has prepared for you. But it is revealed to you by spirit. So let spirit show you that there is more. Adam desired more. And so because he desired more, God said that it's not good for him to be alone. It's not good for him to be all one, self-contained. It's not good for him to be isolated and lonely. God said it wasn't good. God saw where Adam was and said, this is not good for him. In the midst of the garden, in the midst of all this good that was going on, there was something that was not good. But it appeared that way. It appeared that way. It felt that way. It looked that way. And so, pulley point number one, the more consciousness. Even when it doesn't look like all your needs are met in the garden, it is. Because pulley point number one, it is just God showing you that there is more in store. Can you affirm that with me? There is more in store for me. There is more that God has in store for me. Come on, the best is yet to come. There is more that God has, and I come to prophesy to somebody today. There is more that God has in store for you. You haven't yet seen your best days. Your latter will be greater than the former. There is more that God has in store for you. Ooh, it is the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. Can anybody open up your mind for more? Anybody got a mind for more? Anybody got a consciousness for more? It's not that I'm not grateful for what God has given me. It's not that I don't appreciate the blessings that I have received. It's not that I'm not grateful or thankful for the doors that God has opened and the ways that God has made. But there's something that I'm sensing on the inside of me that I will not ignore, because there is more. Good God Almighty. Did y'all catch that? Don't ignore when you feel that way, because there's more. I will not ignore that desire for more. Woo! That's another affirmation. I feel good today. Come on, affirm me. I will not. It's actually a denial. I will not ignore the more that God has in store for me. Say it again. I will not ignore the more that God has in store for me. There is more good in store for you. I will not ignore that feeling, that desire, that urge, that zeal, that hunger, that thirst for more. I will not ignore the desire for more, because it's God knocking on the door. Uh-oh, I'm rhyming, y'all. I feel like doing some poetry. I will not ignore the more that I desire, because it's God knocking on the door of my heart saying, hey, Pulley, there's more. There's more that I have for you. And we're trying to make ourselves be satisfied. We're trying to make ourselves be content. We're telling ourselves you ought to be satisfied the way things are. You ain't never satisfied. You always wanting something more. You always wanting something else. And so God is saying to you, it's okay to desire more. It is okay to expand your what you had worked for the consciousness that you were in. But as your consciousness has expanded, your desires expand. And when you delight yourself in the Lord, God gives you the desires of your heart. Your desires change because your consciousness expanded. Your mind expanded. Your life has grown. You have broadened your horizon. You have expanded your consciousness. So therefore, you desire more. Ooh, I will not ignore the desire for more. There is something that God has in store for me. Can you receive that today? I bless you. I pronounce the more blessing on you, because that's what got Adam Eve. That's what got Adam Eve. He had the animals, and many of us settle for that animalistic nature. We settle for a rump in the hay. We settle for a quick orgasm. We settle, and what we really want is connection. What we really desire is intimacy, but we settle for the animals. We settle for the animalistic nature instead of having a genuine connection with the person. We settle for a temporary fix. We settle for immediate gratification, and it dissipates quickly. So we settle for the animalistic nature. Pulley point number one. It may not look like it, but what you need is right where you are. Pulley point number one, the desire for more. Pulley point, and be okay with that. Pulley point number two, when you had that desire for more, the more was inside of Adam. Just like that desire for more is inside of you, the more that you desire is also inside of you. The physical expression of it is inside of you. So what God did is put Adam to sleep. Pulley point number 2. When that desire for more that God has in store for you comes up, pulley point number 2, meditate. Go into that deep sleep. Resting your thoughts, resting your feelings. What do I do with that more energy? What do I do with that more desire? What do I do with that hunger and thirst for more? I take it into meditation. That's where Eve came from. Adam was in a deep sleep. When you go into meditation, you are focused on a particular thing. And he went to sleep into a deep sleep because what he needed was inside of him. He didn't need the animals that were outside of him. He needed the rib that was inside of him. And so meditation lets you know that the more is inside of you. You just got to go to sleep. You just got to meditate. You just got to go into the stillness and the silence and let God bring that rib out of you. It was in you all the time. But you didn't meditate. You didn't go within. You kept looking for it outside of yourself. And God is saying, I got to put you into a deep, and he didn't die. The deep sleep that I'm talking about is not dying. It's about meditating, because Adam did not die in this instance. He went into a deep sleep. He went into a state of meditation. He went into a state where he was able to bring out what was already within. And so when that desire for more, because everything you need is in the garden. So when you know that as the truth, if a desire for more comes up, that means that I'm called to meditate. Can I say that again? Everything I need is in the garden. God is my source. God is Jehovah Jireh. God put me in this garden. God would not have put me in this garden if everything I needed was not in this garden. So when that desire for more comes up, that means that I need to meditate. Pulley point number 2 is what do you do with that energy? That desire for more, that hunger, that thirst for more. You take it into meditation. You take it into the stillness and the silence, and you let God bring into expression that which is already inside of you. I came to tell somebody today, it is already inside of you. All you got to do is meditate. All you got to do is allow God to put you in that state of meditation and consciousness where what is inside of you, the rib was already in Adam. He already had what he was looking for. It was already inside of him. And I'm telling you, what you're looking for, you already have it. It's inside of you. It is in your Garden of Eden. But you can't see it because you haven't meditated. You can't feel it because you haven't meditated. You are not aware of it because you have not been doing your meditation. I call somebody today back to meditation. I know you've been busy running here and there and doing this and that, but God is calling you back to meditation so that that rib that's inside of you can come outside of you, so that that idea that is inside of you can manifest, pulley point number 3, outside of you. So pulley point number 1, when I desire more, I meditate so it can manifest. Give it to you again. This is the whole sentence that God gave. Because everything I need is in the garden, even when it doesn't look like it. So when I desire more, pulley point number 1, I meditate, pulley point number 2, so that I can manifest, pulley point number 3. I'm going to give you that sentence one more time. When I desire more, I meditate so I can manifest. The only way that that rib was going to come out of Adam in the form of Eve is he had to meditate. He had to go into that deep sleep. And God performed that surgery to bring what was inside of him outside of him. And then God presented to him the manifestation of what came out of him. God is presenting to you the manifestation of that book that's inside of you. God is presenting to you the manifestation of that song, that poem, that play, that cure, that idea, that business, that ministry, that local assembly, that school that's inside of you. When you go into meditation, it is God bringing it outside of you into physical expression, into manifestation, into fruition, into demonstration. So it's nothing wrong with going into that deep sleep, because God is just performing surgery, bringing the good that's already in you outside of you. And so I'm telling you, even when it doesn't look like, you done looked at all the animals and you still don't see what it is that you're looking for. You've been looking among all the trees and you still don't feel satisfied. Don't suppress the desire for more. Don't try to make yourself be grateful and satisfied when you're not. Be okay with that divine discontentment. And know that when I desire more, all I got to do is meditate, and then I will manifest. Y'all got that sentence? Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart if you got that. When I desire more, I do not ignore. I manifest. I meditate, because there is more that God has in store for me. I manifest it. When I desire more, I meditate so that I can manifest what God desires for me. I can manifest it. You can manifest it. But if you suppress it and ignore it and pretend that you don't need what you need, you'll never manifest it. When you try to, talk this crazy stuff that sounds good, but you don't even believe it yourself, you know you desire more, you go into meditation and manifest the more that is inside of you. God is your inexhaustible source of good. There is more. Yes, there is more. This is not as good as it gets. There is more. Give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me a heart if you open your mind to more. Can it get any better? Yes. It may be good, but God has better for you. You may be seeing the men and the women walking around as trees, but God can touch you again, and you can see people as they are.